Welcome to Ernest Road Design, and in this video we're going to conduct in-depth review on the bulletCentral Precision magazine. Yes, this magazine. We're going to put it to the test, take it apart, what makes it tick, what makes it precision. Alright, let's get started. Alright, a little history about this magazine, how it come about to be manufactured. Let's see, Zach from bulletCentral requested Chris Harris. Chris Harris is the owner of bulletCentral. Asked Chris, hey, we should make a left-hand magazine because there ain't one out there. And Chris is like, oh, that's a great idea. And he's all gun-ho about it because he liked to be the first in a lot of things. Funny guy. Anyway, so in collaboration with bulletCentral, he contacted me and helped with this project because, I dealt with a lot of magazines. I mean, all different manufacturers, all different type. I know pros and cons of this magazine, and we're going to try to limit all those negative issues with other magazines. I mean, there's other magazine work. It's just this magazine because it has a bearing in it. So with this bearing, you can do a lot of things to make this precision, tighter tolerance, so it will function beautifully. All right, that's how it became to be. And we'll get more in-depth detail, the internal parts of it, and let's get started and show you what is precision, what we've done to it. All right, let's go. All right, let's cover the two most important parts of this bulletCentral Precision magazine. Is the constant tension spring. You can tell it's already wound up. So the way it works, you turn the carousel counterclockwise. This is how it gets its tension. From beginning to end, it's almost the same tension. Now, like you're compressing a spring, conventional coil spring. And you experience this every day, maybe. I mean, not every day, but if you use a measuring tape that's auto-fed, extends through, it's like a measuring tape, and you lock it in place and do your measurement. It feels the same when you pull it 1 inch or fully extended. Very neat spring. Also, and this bearing. What's unique about this bearing is it took a while to find the right one. It has a less minimal side-to-side movement. The spring, bearings are not designed to do that. This is designed to load, to go up and down, right? So this is the perfect bearing for it. And what nice in having a ball bearing, like I said, is keep everything tight tolerance. One example, this body has to sit low as it can, minimize the clearance between here and side here. All right, so you'll eliminate the gap between this exit hole and the carousel. So you would eliminate that void for especially pellets. They'll drop in between the carousel and the body. So we got it down pretty low as you can, to minimize that void. All right, everything is in tight tolerance just because of the bearing. All right, the bearing is press fit on the carousel, and the constant spring is mounted by a cap screw and a 9-lock nut. All right, the spring will wind against the body. this section here. Now, bulletCentral by Chris Harris, who designed this, he came up with this neat idea about having little mill slots in there where the end of the spring, leaf spring, we call this, to go inside this groove, preventing from unwinding. Yeah, it took a while to figure that out because we had the issue of this spring unwinding itself. It has no place to keep the end stationary. So this little gadget here made a whole difference. All right, so the way it works is like all right, you might hear a little spring noise. It might raise up and you hear the carousel, but I mean, it is what it is. You cannot avoid that, but you barely notice it. Very neat design. Right? And also the magnets. The magnets are kind of pressed in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 magnets. And an actual magazine, they're installed, and that way you can see them lit up. When you flip it over, there is also 4 magnets. So, has a good snap to it. I mean, you use your fingernails to pry it open, or your thumb here. To use the magnet on the other side to keep your magazine, you know, so you won't lose it, you just take it off, flip it. Then these magnets here line up and holds it in place. Kind of a safe storage for so you don't misplace it. And remember to use your carousel grooves there to good leverage to turn it. Also, to able to use their long slugs, this lid had to be mill slot deeper, right? As you notice, it's a little cloudy. You can't minimize that by a milling bit cutting on plastic. And this is not ordinary plastic. I don't know what it's called. It's called indestructible one. I forgot to pronounce the name. It's really expensive, and you can step on this. I mean, you can almost fold this in half, it won't snap. It's really cool. And the magnets on the lid, I've been testing it for a long time, and I haven't seen the magnet coming off. It's kind of pressed in there. And the other end is not really strong enough to separate the magnet from the lid. Yep. All right. One advantage about this bulletCentral Precision magazine, they managed to squeeze in another round. Yes, this is a 29 round magazine. Well, let's count and find out. Wind it up. When you wind this, I found it easier to wind. I put my fingers on the edge of this carousel. Has more grip. Here's kind of shallow because they milled this slot, deep to get this spring in. All right, so grab the edge. It probably work better for you when you do that. All right. We'll put the first one to lock the spring in place and load them up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Yep, 29 rounds. You might say only one. Well, sometimes that one extra ammo or slug makes a difference. Cool, right? Now we're going to test out the spring tension. They call it constant spring. We're going to test how much spring tension when there's only one slug or when it's filled with 28 slug. I got to leave that one slug out so I can get my trigger pull inside that slot. All right, that's probably next. All right, we're going to test out this constant tension spring with 28 slugs in there, and the 28th is holding the spring tension. I left out the 29th round to get my instrument in the slot. We'll do a couple times to get an average. Have to with this, the trigger pull. You have to pull it really slow, get an accurate reading. So that's what we're going to do. And when a slug releases, it's going to hit this 10, so you'll hear it. Then we'll calculate how much ounces it would take to drop that slug. Right. The angle is very important. You don't apply too much force. Mm-hmm. 8.4. Oops. Let's try again. $6.8. $7.4. So I think we got a general idea how much spring force. I mean, you need a lot of spring force when you're loaded with the heavy slugs on there. $7.8. So it all depends on the angle pull. It'll determine. It's not as accurate, but you just got a rough estimate how much ounces it would take. Now I'm just gonna check spring force only in one slug. All right. $6.8. $5.7. $7.5. $6.4. So it's not constant, but it is very, very close with only one slug or 28 slugs. So that's pretty good. All right, several key advantage of using a ball bearing is keeping the tolerance tighter. All right, we've done that with closing everything down, so it's minimize the play of the slug. You could tell, I mean, there ain't that much. I mean, if I move this, is that much clearance. You can see it. That's going to keep it not, especially the pointy slugs, it would sometimes flip. Sometimes, the olden days, I see the slug get jammed and flipped over. I say, well, how did it do that? You know, so we kept everything tight. All right, and this is a slug, 40 grain slugs. Now we're gonna test out the 18 grain. All right, his mag is loaded with the 18 grain atomic pellets, and there's enough clearance there, right? Just barely moving. I mean, you don't want it too tight, you'll jam up the carousel, but it is perfect. Another modification done on this BC magazine is to the stop here. You get the reflection of light. The stop, we lowered it down till there's only around 0.5 millimeter clearance between the stop and the carousel movement. And you can see off to the side, you can see the light reflection. When it's right there, you'll see a little bit. It's hard to see, but let me zoom in. You see the light reflection inside here? So it has a smoother backing because the ammo is going to sit in there like that. So if I apply a lot of force into this magazine, trying to crimp that pellet and it'll push it in. No, you're not going to see the 0.5 gouge. Let me zoom in more on the ammo. At least I can't see it. That really makes a difference on the accuracy. Yeah, there you see it. Okay, there. Yeah. Prevents damage to the ammo. Doesn't matter if you use slugs, air slugs, there's no damage, so put it in there. Try to force this carousel in tight and just push it through. I don't see a mark on there. All right. So, yeah, it helps out a lot. All right, on the covers, when you purchase them, you have choices of lid. All right, if you're not going to shoot a 40 grain slug, right, you can get the clear cover. I mean, the 34 grains are perfect in it, right? And even this, the Beast fit perfect in there with this cover. Clear cover, you can see how much ammo you have here remaining. But when you cut into plastic, you can't get a clear image. When it's cut, it had this, there's no way to correct it. And I think that's the only way to fit the 40 grain slug is mill this slug deeper, and it's going to be a little cloudy. So if you're not going to shoot a heavy slug, 40 grains and over, like 11.6, the lengthwise, then you could use the clear. If the 40 grains and above, you gotta use this cover so you have choices, because you can't, this could be an issue with this being blurry. All right, it's kind of, you know, to me, I use this 95% of the time, the clear one, because I like shooting 34 grains and below, and it's perfectly clear. All right, and also I didn't really get over, they are available right hand and left hand magazine. Of course, it's going to be anodized this color. And when you purchase the left hand, it comes with a left hand bracket, bracket stop. All right. All right, I described about this precision magazine. It's all, you know, as perfect as can be, but you got to make some pre-checks on your gun to insert properly, so you get the benefit of this precision magazine. All right, in your block, it's called rubber balls. You know, you have a power block, there's 4 of them, 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top. This is going to add tension to your magazine to keep it in place, especially the first round, because the first round is very important to keep your magazine aligned. That's why it's kind of a hit and miss is the first one. So when you cock it, insert it, you got here is click and locked in place. All right, and especially when you're cocking, if you're missing some balls, your magazine is going to drop. Then your probe is not going to be aligned anymore with the magazine hole. So it's very important to get the proper tension. All right, if it's too tight, you can remove 1 ball at a time till you get the proper tension without, when you cock it, the probe is out of the way, the magazine is not going to slip and not align anymore. All right. Then another one, your barrel lip clearance here. You got to make sure the shoulder is flush with the body, and the lip, actual lip at the end of the barrel will ride on this piece here. All right, and when you get, especially when you got a new magazine, it's, the way I do it is I back out the barrel slightly, then I insert the magazine, lock it in place, then I move the barrel slightly leaning on the magazine, then I cycle it on and off, on and off. Then I tighten down the barrel mounting screw. All right. And another one, if you happen to be doing your own maintenance, sometimes this could be overlooked. Sometimes is this, see this 2 screw is a little flat plate. All right. If you're not paying attention, you could reverse this. That means this piece will sit further back. Then the butt plate on both left and right will have a lip. Then you'll hit that lip, and you can't get the magazine inside there smoothly. You got to really play with it. So make sure you put that plate back on it very flush. All right, put it back where it was before. And 1, 2, 3, those 3 things I just mentioned, if those are perfectly right, you have tailored your precision magazine into your gun. If you don't, you're not gonna get it right the first time. All right? Thanks for watching, and hopefully Try out this magazine, you'll notice how smooth it is, how quiet it is. All right. And you'll never go back to the other magazine, guaranteed. All right, we'll catch you next video.